Have you ever felt like the walls are closing in on you when you look at your bank account? Every financial expert on television and every headline on your smartphone seems to be shouting the exact same thing at you. They tell you that you must have $2 million, $3 million, or even $5 million before you can even begin to think about quitting your job for good. For most of us, those astronomical numbers do not feel like a goal or a dream. They feel like a heavy prison sentence that we are forced to serve. It is as if the dream of a peaceful and secure retirement is being pushed further and further out of reach by some invisible and cruel force. But what if I told you that most of those intimidating numbers are actually based on a massive lie? What if the giant retirement targets you see in 2026 are actually designed to keep you afraid and working much longer than you truly need to? Today, we are going to peel back the heavy curtain and reveal the real math behind a successful retirement. I'm going to show you exactly how it is possible to walk away from the daily grind with just a fraction of what the mainstream experts claim you need. We are going to look closely at why a portfolio of just $125,000 might actually be the ultimate key to your personal freedom. This is not about cutting corners or living a life of misery and scarcity. This is about understanding how the entire world of investing has evolved and how you can use that evolution to your absolute advantage. Before we dive into the very heart of this life-changing strategy, I want to ask for your help. If you are tired of fear-based financial advice and you want more content that speaks the plain and honest truth, please hit the like button right now. It helps this important message reach more people who are currently struggling with these same deep anxieties. Also, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a deep dive into your own financial security. I truly want to hear from you in the comments section below. What is the retirement number you have been told you need? And how does that number make you feel when you wake up in the morning? Let us start a real conversation today that helps every one of us find some genuine peace of mind. For several decades, the financial world has been completely obsessed with something called the 4% rule. This rule suggests that you should only withdraw 4% of your total savings each year to ensure you never run out of money before you pass away. Back then, people were absolutely terrified of a market crash, destroying their golden years entirely. But we are living in 2026 now, and the landscape has shifted significantly. The way we grow our wealth has evolved, and sticking to an outdated rule from 30 years ago might be the very thing holding you back from your dreams. Think about it this way for a moment. If you strictly follow the 4% rule and you want to spend $40,000 a year, you are told you need at least $1 million in the bank. That sounds like an impossible mountain to climb for the average hard-working individual. But there is another perspective that is gaining massive momentum because it is backed by decades of actual market performance data. This is the logic that suggests you can safely withdraw 8% of your portfolio every single year. I know that might sound radical, or even dangerous when you first hear it. You might be thinking that withdrawing 8% would drain your entire account in a very short amount of time. But that only happens if your money is sitting still and not growing. The secret key to this entire strategy is where your money actually lives. If your investments are earning an average of 12% per year, then withdrawing 8% is not just safe, it is actually sustainable for the long haul. You are simply spending a portion of the growth while leaving the remaining 4% to fight off inflation and keep your principal balance growing. Where does that 12% annual growth come from? It does not come from high-risk gambles or mysterious digital currency schemes that promise the world. It comes from growth stock mutual funds and diversified portfolios that focus on the biggest and best innovators in our global economy. We are talking about the massive companies that drive our modern world forward every single day. These are the businesses that consistently outperform the broader stock market over long periods of time. Think about the long-term history of the United States stock market for a moment. Despite every war, every recession, and every political crisis we have faced, the market has shown a remarkable ability to grow and recover. When you focus on real growth, your money becomes a powerful engine that works for you while you are fast asleep. Let us look at a real-world example to see how this simple math actually changes your entire life. The Bureau of Labor Statistics recently reported that the average retired household in the United States spends about $58,000 per year. That amount covers everything from your housing and groceries to your healthcare and those occasional trips to see the grandkids. $58,000 might sound like a lot of money to generate entirely from an investment account, but most people completely forget about the very backbone of the American retirement system, Social Security. In 2026, the average Social Security benefit for a retired couple is roughly $48,000 per year. That is a steady and inflation-adjusted stream of income that comes in every single month, regardless of what the stock market is doing. If you need $58,000 to live a comfortable life, and Social Security provides $48,000, you only have a gap of $10,000 left to fill. Now, let us do the math on that $10,000 gap using the 8% withdrawal strategy we just discussed. To generate $10,000 a year at an 8% withdrawal rate, you only need $125,000 invested. I want you to let that sink in for a moment because it is incredibly important. $125,000 is a far cry from the $2 million that the television experts tell you to save up. It is a number that is actually achievable for millions of hard-working people who are watching this right now. It means that for many of you, you might already be much closer to the finish line than you ever dared to dream possible. But I can already hear the skeptics and the critics raising their voices. They will ask, what happens when the stock market goes down? What happens during a year like 2022 or other major downturns where the entire screen turns red? This is exactly where the concept of flexibility becomes your greatest financial superpower. Traditional financial planning often treats you like a rigid computer program that must spend the exact same amount every year. But human beings are not computer programs. We are incredibly adaptable and resilient. If the market takes a temporary dip, you do not simply keep spending money blindly as if nothing has changed. You tighten the belt for a short season. Maybe you decide to delay that big vacation for one more year. Maybe you decide that you do not need to trade in your current car just yet. By reducing your withdrawals slightly during a down market, you allow your portfolio to stay intact so it can catch the full wave of the recovery when it comes. And the history of the stock market is very clear about one specific thing. After every major crash, there has always been an even stronger recovery for those who stayed the course and did not panic. The biggest risk to your retirement is actually not a market dip or a recession. The biggest risk is the deep fear that causes you to sell your investments at the very bottom, or even worse, the despair that keeps you from ever starting your investment journey at all. This strategy does require a strong stomach and a very clear vision for your future. It requires you to move away from the perceived safety of low-interest bonds that barely keep up with the cost of living. Instead, you have to embrace the long-term growth of the entire American economy. You should look closely at funds like the Vanguard Growth Index, which is often known by the three letters VUG. Over the long term, funds like this have provided the kind of returns that make an 8% withdrawal rate possible. They are filled with the companies that are fundamentally changing the way we live, work, and communicate. By owning a small piece of that massive innovation, you are participating in the wealth creation of the future. However, many people hit their mid-50s and suddenly realize they have fallen behind their goals. They feel a sense of intense panic because they have spent their lives raising their children and paying off their mortgages. If that sounds like you, I want you to know today that it is absolutely never too late to pivot your strategy. Even if you only have 10 years left until your desired retirement date, the incredible power of compounding is still on your side. If you can save aggressively and invest in these growth-oriented vehicles now, you can bridge that gap much faster than you think. The ultimate goal is not to reach some arbitrary number that makes a banker or a broker happy. The goal is to reach the point where your passive income exceeds your monthly expenses. That is the definition of true freedom. And once you reach that first major milestone of $125,000 or $250,000, you will notice something truly magical happen. The growth of your money starts to accelerate at a pace you never expect. The second $100,000 always comes much faster than the very first $100,000. Your money starts doing more of the heavy lifting than your actual paycheck does. This is the tipping point where your financial life changes forever, and for the better. It is the moment when you realize that you are no longer a slave to the clock or the calendar. You are finally the owner of your own time. As we look toward the future, the world around us will continue to change in unpredictable ways. Inflation will rise and fall, and new technologies will emerge and disrupt the status quo. But the fundamental principles of sound investing and the power of human adaptability remain constant. You do not need to be a mathematical genius to navigate this path successfully. You just need a plan that is rooted in reality and truth rather than fear and speculation. You need to understand your own spending habits and be willing to be flexible when the world gets messy. If you can do that, the dream of a comfortable and secure retirement is not just a distant possibility, it is a very high probability outcome for you. I want to remind you that you are the one in control of this entire journey. Do not let the complexity of the financial services industry intimidate you or make you feel small. They often want it to be complicated, so you feel like you absolutely need to pay them for their help. But the truth is often much simpler than they would ever like you to believe. It is about saving what you can, investing it for growth, and staying disciplined through the inevitable ups and downs of the market. Before we conclude our time together today, I want to invite you to take one small step toward your own freedom. If you found real value in this breakdown of the retirement math, please give this video a thumbs up. It lets us know that we should keep creating more content that focuses on these practical and life-changing strategies. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell. We are entering a brand new era of economic growth, and I want to make sure you have all the tools you need to thrive in it. Also, please do not forget to share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. What is one thing you can change in your spending or your investing habits today to get closer to your personal number? Let us help each other stay focused and accountable on this journey. Retirement is not an ending or a closing of a door. It is a beautiful new beginning. It is the season of your life where you finally get to be the primary architect of your own days. Whether you want to travel the world, spend more quality time with your family, or start a new project that you are passionate about, it all starts with a solid foundation. You do not need a giant mountain of gold to be truly happy and fulfilled. You just need enough to cover the things that truly matter to you and your loved ones. And as we have clearly seen today, that number might be much smaller than you ever imagined. Focus on the growth, embrace your flexibility, and trust the long-term process. The peace of mind that you have been looking for is much closer than you think. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Keep building your future, keep growing your wealth, and I will see you in the next one.